All right. This is Back in the Box Productions bringing you the Bernie and OMC show. I am the original MC. He is Bernie. We are Mike and Chris, and I could not be more ecstatic about today's show. We got a lot of great people on the line here. Go ahead, Bernie. Talk to your people.
All right. Well, we're at that point, guys. We're down to it. We are down to the game, well, as you see, one shining moment. And we'll even be talking about that a little bit, because that always gets me every year since I first started watching this. And I'll tell you what, most of the times I'm actually on the phone with MC, OMC, or THMC. I don't know after a while.
We're gonna touch on that. We're gonna touch on that in just a second. Don't worry. Don't worry.
I'm gonna hand it right back to you and let you lead in.
All right. So first of all, we have an amazing group of people here today. Obviously, we have Eddie Cook joining us, who I was really looking forward to seeing. We have Rick Erdlen, right? Rick, you're Tim's dad, right?
That is correct, yes.
All right, Tim's dad. Rick's joining us. Tim was on. He must have dropped off for a second. Maybe he'll be back. Tim obviously is one of the two people that can actually win this thing. He's coming back on right now. And then we have Phil Fong, who this is my first time speaking with. So quite an array of people here, plus the two people that can actually win this thing. We're so far along in this tournament, it's actually April, and we're talking about March Madness, so we're almost there. The one thing I do want to touch on, however, before we get into the meat and potatoes of today's discussion is I recently called out, right? I recently called out the other MC. I want to stress, a lot of people were commenting after thinking that this was a negative thing. It was not. I simply want to give the origin of where OMC came from, and I needed him to be here. So I've known Mr. Caraba for several years now, including being at co-Madness creator Chris Bernard's wedding, which, so we've known each other a long time. During one of the challenges, however, I noticed he was calling himself MC, and I took personal exception to that because I've been around longer in terms of the challenge. And so that's where the idea of original MC comes. Now, I wish I could show this to you guys. I didn't prepare for it in advance, but I want you to know I have Mr. Caraba's phone number in my phone, and he is listed as other MC in my phone. So this is not a negative call out. It's just that there's the original and there's the other, but I will always have love for my MC cohort. And I just wanted to sort of explain where that came from. I'm thrilled he's here. I'm thrilled the rest of you guys are here. CB, why don't we go ahead and get these guys rolling? You know them all better than I do. I'm dying to hear them talk. Let's see what we got going on today.
Yeah, I think I'm going to get Phil going here, or Chino.
Yeah.
Because he's doing a catering event tonight in Orlando. I think you're in Orlando, correct?
I am.
He is, and that's my old stalking ground. Late 80s, late 90s. So kind of miss it, but he's got a catering event to do. So let's get him up to speed here. All right, it's between you and Tim. What are you gonna do with the money, by the way?
Pay off debt, man. What else is there to do with this inflation going on?
Yeah, so Phil, you have one of the we had a discussion when we had Tim and Joe.
A husky?
A husky. we had Tim and our dearly departed Joe Russo on the line for the show a couple of days ago. First of all, let's all offer a quick moment of silence on his loss. So, but Phil, you weren't able to make it, but I actually I brought up the point to Tim and Joe that if Joe were to win this challenge, he would do so without picking the national champion. And he's out, but you're in, and you actually find yourself in the same spot. How do you feel about that? A win is a win, but are you good with that? Would you rather have chosen the national champion? What are your thoughts on winning without actually choosing the champion?
At the end of the day, as long as there's money in the wallet, that's all that matters. Who cares how you get it? As long as you get it. That's all that matters.
I love it. How'd you come to the challenge, Phil? Because this is your first year with us, right?
Yeah, so I'm Tony's Pizza Pool with Dave, the Serbo.
Oh, okay. Right? I know Dave.
And so he sent a link to all the participants in Tony's Pizza Pool. And in the last second said, you know what? Let me just do it, man. And so it's a good investment so far.
Yeah. Well, you're in it right till the end. So that's fantastic. That's great. Well, welcome to the challenge. I can't believe you might be you have a shot to be, you know, one time in and win it on your first shot. That's amazing. That being said, Tim might have a few things to say about that, and we'll give him a chance to weigh in. Go ahead, Tim. What do you got? What do you got for your opponent here?
I mean, picking the national championship is the way to go. Oh, that's the real way to win the madness. So, you know, go Huskies, baby. I've read all good things today, and it's that one shining moment that's going to come down to me.
Yeah, but you forgot about Drake. Drake gave you the curse.
I saw the post today. I saw it. That's the curse. Look out.
What curse is that?
Care to explain, someone?
Well, Drake, I guess traditionally is a horrible bettor. So whoever and it started with the Toronto Raptors, I believe,
Yes.
which is home team. And he was did something for them, was an ambassador for them, and they've been horrible ever since. So he is the curse of anyone who was looking for a win, unfortunately.
Well, you know what happened in the Super Bowl, right? He picked the Super Bowl winner, and they won.
Yes, that's the first time he's done that. That's like one.
The reverse of the curse, right? So it can happen again.
You're right. You're right.
2 in a row.
Curses are like rules; they are made to be broken. So let's see what happens. I will say, if UConn wins, I don't want to make this about me; it's about you guys. But if UConn does win, I will finish third in this challenge, giving me a first place win, a second place win, and a third place win. Not as good as 2 first place wins, Tim, but still. So let's go.
Which I think technically it's going to be the first. If you look back in history, I've been doing a little bit. Subpoenas are coming out. If this time, we want to see that drunken text. The rumor is he did not pick those 2 brackets. So
exactly.
He's calling out. He's calling out Chuck Shreve. So I guess we're gonna have to.
I agree.
Wow.
I agree.
Little infighting here.
Well, good. Well, best of luck, Phil. Best of luck, Tim. Phil, if you want to hang out as long as you want, you're certainly welcome to. I don't know if you were in a hurry or not, but hang out. I know
Absolutely.
that I know there's some wisdom coming from Eddie Cook at some point. Whenever he's ready. And Rick, I'm assuming, Rick, that you were going to introduce Tim.
Well, I think the OMC did a great job of that already, so introducing him, but he is back again for his second championship this year. So, we're looking forward to a wonderful evening. He's out on the back deck, so I'm still working technically,
Yeah, I can actually tell by the background too. And everybody, that's Rick's new place. So am I correct?
That is correct, yes.
And that's his boat back there.
Well, no, the boat's not there yet. The boat's
Ah.
coming back tomorrow.
He's the only house on the canal without a boat right now.
I can
So,
believe it.
so I'll tell you what. Let's do this real quick, since we have a bunch of. I want to hear from everybody. So let me start first. I'm gonna start with the 2 guys that have a shot to win this. Okay. I want you to put your bias out the way for a second. We know what you want to have happen. Heart of hearts, as a good sportsman, Phil. Let me start with you. What do you think is actually going to happen in the national championship game?
UConn's gonna win.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
I mean, listen to me. Right. If I was Vegas right now, I had to put money on the game, UConn.
Okay. So you're rooting against, but you think that they're going to win. Tim, I think I know what you think is going to happen based on the other day.
San Diego State's gonna win. Thank you, buddy.
I think UConn's definitely. I think they're going to take it out. SDSU, I've been reading, has had the easiest ride to the national championship. With it's easy to beat teams when they're missing 24 out of 27 from deep, and UConn's not been given other opportunities for second chance offensive forwards for other teams. So I think they're going to lock it down tonight.
I think it's gonna be the deal. I think the Aztecs are long, and they're gonna give them a little bit of trouble. But if they can figure that out, they should win. But we'll see if they can do that or not.
UConn's been among, one of the hottest teams I've ever seen in this tournament, and obviously underseeded at 4. But amazing. So Rick, now we know you're pulling for Tim. What do you see? What do you see happening tonight?
I think UConn is just way too strong for them. They had an exciting, run all the way up. That whole side was just a mess. I can't remember who it was that also picked UConn. If you look at his East bracket, I think I posted that earlier in the week.
Yeah.
It was done. I mean, it just was a crazy year this year with everything that went over on that left side of that bracket. So, but I think UConn will run away with it, to be honest with you.
All right. Other MC, talk to me.
The truth is, I'm Big East through and through. I grew up watching Big East basketball. I used to go to the Garden. I've got some amazing stories of Saturday doubleheaders for $4 up in the cheap seats, seeing all those great Big East teams in the mid 80s. So Big East through and through, no matter. And UConn left for a while, the American East, whatever they call that one, and then they're back in the Big East. I'm always going to go Big East, and ironically, this year I didn't. And as you know, they're not there anymore. But as Chris will tell you, every year I've been playing the Madness. I always have Syracuse advancing because they're my loyalties, and I had nowhere to put it this year. And this is probably the worst performance I've ever had in Madness. I've never won, but I've come in twice, second and third once, which is really heartbreaking.
That's about as much. It can't hurt more in a winner-take-all tournament to be the next man up. So
yeah, I tell you, Michael, I'm the same way with the Big East. Villanova didn't make it this year either, and I was like, who am I going to pick? That I went to Nova. I was there at the Final Four when they won it. So yeah, you got to love that Big East.
Yeah, and just to finish, I remember this. The last time Duke won, I know, Bernard, you probably remember this. I'm really good at looking and calculating out, and this was a game. It was this Elite Eight. And a Louisville freshman missed a free throw with no time on the clock. And Louisville lost to Michigan State. Bernard, do you remember I called you and said, I'm going to lose by 1 point? Like literally, because the only difference between the guy who beat me and him was that game and another game down the line. And literally, and then 2 years later came in second again. And so, you know what? Hey, I'm a lot better at this than apparently I am in football.
Nice. I want to save Eddie for last. CB, what's going to happen tonight?
Hey, I spent a lot of time in Connecticut, man, and I'm a Hurley guy from New Jersey, so I'm UConn all the way. And I'm still bitter. I live on 2745 Bittersweet Lane now, not Sawgrass, because I scratched out UConn. I scratched out San Diego State. I'm not talking about all the way, but I'm talking about real deep. And so I gotta leave it alone Thursday morning. Thursday morning before tip off. I mean, I gotta leave it alone. I gotta walk away and just somebody take away any kind of privileges I have, take away my phone, do whatever, lock me up. I don't care, but I am tired of that feeling.
Yep. I cost myself a shot to win this thing for the same reason. Last but not least, Eddie, I want to hear what you have to say because Chris told me you had a little something for us. I'd love to hear it.
Well, I didn't think we got your prediction, did we?
My prediction.
Yeah.
I apologize. Well, I chose UConn to win the national championship this year in the challenge.
Right.
The 1 year that I won the Joan Shannon Madness Challenge, I won with UConn. And so I figured, I don't know, I'm a Big East guy too. I looked at UConn. The other team, in fairness, the other team that I did look at was Houston. But I felt, I try not to go too much chalk, and UConn I just felt had a shot. So the one thing I will say, though, is I'm a little bit – so I think they're going to win the game. Let me put it that way. I think they're just playing better now. They're playing better than everybody else, and I've seen no reason to think that they won't pull it out. As far as now, and I love Tim, love Phil, so whoever wins, congratulations. But I have to say I'm a little bit torn. Do I want to finish third in this challenge and be so close – right, and then have him be another two-time winner in this challenge, or would I like to see Phil get his first one in his first year in? I don't know. I'm looking forward to see what happens. But what do I think is going to happen? UConn's going to win the game. I don't think it'll be close.
Okay, good. This is what I expected was going to happen. If you looked at the end of when they did the post game the other night, all five of the guys on the set picked UConn to win, all five. And everything I've read has picked UConn to win. There's not been one person who's picked San Diego State to win. And I don't know about y'all, but I don't know how many times I've seen it on NFL Today when all the guys pick a certain team to win, that team more often than not loses. So I know we have a lot of UConn fans here. And I care about my people. So I'm going to pick San Diego State because of a couple of reasons. One is that they have a tremendous defense. I mean, as Phil said earlier, very long, very long. They have the size to compete with UConn inside. They have the defense. Their 3-point defense is otherworldly.
Yeah.
They have the 3-point defense to compete with UConn. Everybody under the sun thinks, and I do too, on paper, UConn looks like the clear winner. There's no reason not to pick UConn. And if they were the underdog, I would be pulling for them to win. But because I want to be a naysayer, somebody who kind of goes outside the box, and because I finished not third OMC, but third from last. Admittedly, I did pick 4 upsets and nobody picked any more than 2 besides me. But another point to keep in mind, y'all, UConn and San Diego State both have defeated Alabama this year. Both of them.
Wow.
Both by double digits. Both beat Alabama by double digits. So it's to sit back and say that UConn has no chance. I mean, that San Diego State has no chance. I think that, you know, that's probably not fair to them. Another reason for picking San Diego State is I am historically wrong at picking winners of championship games. You can go back in history. Friends of mine say, Eddie, I want to go with you to Vegas because if I go with you, I know if I bet the opposite of what you bet, I'm going to win more often than so.
Our world. Yep.
For all of those reasons, I'm picking San Diego State by 6 tonight.
Ooh,
Eddie,
even
if Drake broke the curse, you're breaking the curse today, okay, bud?
I mean,
sorry, man.
That's like
you know what's funny about this? So first of all, I appreciate it, and I like that you actually back it up with some reasons too. So I'm going to say this. Isn't it funny how when you looked at the brackets before the tournament started, UConn was sitting there as a 4 seed and picking them felt a little bit uncomfortable because they were a 4 seed and we're used to 1, 2s, and 3s really. But it's funny how their role has shifted from underdog to now the heavy favorite. I'll say this though, I've mentioned this many times throughout the years. One of the beautiful things about this tournament and one of the beautiful things really about collegiate sports as a whole, you know, and there's a lot of negative too, is it's playing for your colors. It's the men and the women really, but in this tournament, the men, the guys who play for the name on the chest more so than the professionals, because there's a lot of players playing that aren't going to make it to the pros and everything, and this could be their one shiny moment. So is it out of the realm of possibility that San Diego State wins? No, of course not, because they've made it this far. And the phrase any given Sunday comes to mind. They can have a great game and they're playing for pride. When you play for pride, you can do things that you may not even be good enough to do. So is it possible? 100%. Amazing. Amazing. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. So appreciate the prediction on that. Go ahead, Eddie.
So I had one other thought on this too. Think about this tournament. Think about how early all the 1 seeds went out. And wouldn't it be just apropos for the thing to end with the team that nobody thinks is going to win tonight winning?
Right.
I mean, they're only separated by 1 in seeding. 4
Yeah,
versus
it's not
5.
like this is a 16 versus a 2. It's a 4 versus 5, and 4 versus 5 is totally subjective. They could, you know, in any given poll, if those roles were reversed, no one could argue about the difference between a 4 and a 5.
Right.
True, and it was almost a 4. It was almost a 4 and a 9, right? San Diego State won on the last shot of the game, playing again. You know, would have played FAU. So totally fair. Totally fair point. Amazing.
Another thing in this tournament, UConn has not played a close game yet. How are they going to play when it's a close game? If it's a close game, we don't know.
Yeah, and that brings up. No, go ahead, Tim.
I was just saying that's if it's a close game.
I know, and you think it's going to be a blowout, and on paper it looks like a blowout, but I want my friends who love UConn to be happy tonight. That's why I picked San Diego State.
Thanks, Ed. We appreciate that. You know, it's one thing, I think, if this has shown anything, and we forget that these are still kids. You know, I mean, they're 18, 19, 20, and no matter how polished they are, kids get the heat. You know, this is more than any sport. You got 18 and 19-year-olds who have 70, 80 million people watching them in a game that's so focused. Yeah, I know it's the same thing in football, but in football, you got guys who are generally older, they're more mature, and they're not as obvious. You know, the offensive lineman on Alabama probably makes a huge difference, but who the hell notices them? But when you got 5 guys on a stand, 70,000 people, 5 guys on the floor, 70,000 people in the stands, and 70 million people watching, a 19-year-old, that's a lot of pressure. And even though they may not crumble, they may not be as sharp. And sometimes it's as much as managing that. And I think that's actually gotten truer in a lot of the sports. I mean, especially, you know, we had the era of the one and done with Kentucky, you know, and all that. And it's nice to see some of these other teams that have more seasoned players. These guys have been playing together 3 or 4 years. I mean, I remember years ago when Gonzaga became a national power, that was always their success. They had a team every year as seniors. So these guys just handled pressure better as a 22-year-old than an 18-year-old, you know, who's, you know, 6 months into college. He probably doesn't go to classes if he's a star athlete. And it's, you know, I've seen, I told Chris, one of the things I like to share, I was lucky enough to see a lot of great upsets, and you just never know. My favorite, I'm going to take 2 minutes, 1980, Louisville, the Doctors of Dunk, Darryl Griffiths, they come into the Garden on a Saturday afternoon to play Iona. Louisville versus Iona. But Iona has this 6'10" monster of a center named Jeff Ruland, and Jim Valvano is their coach. And Ruland was a man amongst boys. Louisville, Iona won by 17 points. And Louisville that year went on to win the national championship. But I just remember that. It's like, what an upset. And that's the game that actually got Valvano to North Carolina. The next year, he went to NC State. And then 2 years later, he wins the national champion. But it was amazing watching if you could have that one player who handles the pressure, or it's basketball. It's the way it happens, right? You know, it's just amazing.
Yeah, and you know, actually what you said just brings up another point to me too. We talk about the players and the heebie-jeebies that they may get and a little uncomfortable on the big stage. About the coaches. This is going to be Hurley's first shot to coach in a game like this. You know, and
was also bred for this though, OMC. I mean, if anyone's got a pedigree,
he does. He's been around it for sure. But could that work against him? Does he feel a little pressure to perform? Does he, you know, so it remains to be seen. I don't know a lot about, Brian Dutcher from San Diego State. Yeah. I don't know a lot about him, but what I do know is that because of the fact, even though it's a 4 and a 5 seed, because of that fact, he can turn around and play it's us against the world.
Yeah.
When Hurley and his group are expected to win. And a lot of times when you play from, you know, a position where no one expects you to lose, the pressure can be too much. So who knows? You
know, the Caesar twins think that Hurley doesn't do very good adjustments. So that's what they were talking. You guys were all talking about that on the text thread too. So Hurley doesn't do good adjustments. While you have what's the average age of San Diego State, by the way? Isn't it like 28 years old? I think these guys have been there for like 7 years now. So I mean, and you know, we got a little bit of the lure of Steve, you know, of Fisher hanging out over there. You know, that he was an assistant for him. I mean, so that kind of builds it up too. So
I would love to be there sometime this week where, you know, there was a breakfast with Bobby Jr. and Danny, right? That should have been a pay-per-view, because I can't imagine what was discussed at that.
I don't think I've ever seen the senior Hurley smile.
Chris from Original, Eddie, you probably know this. Was Danny Hurley on the Seton Hall team that lost in the finals? Remember when Seton had that run on the PJ? Was that in the mid-90s? Danny and who the other guy went first round? Terry DeHoon and some other guys that Seton went all the way to they went to the final championship game. Wasn't Danny on that team?
I think he was actually.
Yeah.
I think he was on the team.
Nice one.
Right, with Terry DeHoon and some other guy in Seton with PJ when they had that great run.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna. I'm gonna see if I can look that up real quick. That's a fair
Yeah.
point.
So we got just a couple more minutes left. So we'll try to wrap it up a little bit.
So I have one other thought real
Yeah,
quick.
go ahead. Oh, hey,
and
what
that
is this,
on
Eddie?
Dutcher.
This is just
On-
like a train the trainer.
On Dutcher, like Hurley, his father was a long time coach.
Hmm.
Long time coach. So they have that in common.
Yep.
Hurley and Dutcher both, their fathers were longtime coaches.
Good one. Even makes it better. Even makes it better.
What year was that? What year was that you were asking about?
Oh, I think it's in the mid '90s. I'm trying to think.
So yeah, he was there.
Danny's
Right.
younger than Bobby, right?
Yeah, he was there till '96. So I think so. I think he was on that team.
I think so too.
So
Well, yeah,
real
he's got
quick,
the pedigree.
real
Go ahead,
quick.
Chris.
Phil Fong, Chino. So first you got to do at least one or two name drops of chefs because I come from a cooking family myself. So most notable chef. And then also, are you going to be able to sneak away tonight and at least watch a couple of minutes? Hold on, I got you.
He's
I got
he's
you
muted right now.
Unmute,
There you
unmute,
go.
unmute.
Absolutely. I'm doing a finals party tonight, so I'll be
Ah.
watching as I'm doing stuff over there.
Okay, good. And give us one good notable chef.
I've worked with Emeril Lagasse. I've worked with Bobby Flay. I've worked with Martha Stewart. I mean, she's okay. Roy Choi, David
Excellent.
Chang.
Ah, my favorite.
All free, man. But I get to learn, and so
Yeah,
I don't mind doing. I would never classically train, so that's my training.
yeah. Well, beautiful. I'm glad.
I
welcome to the
technically
madness,
worked
man.
with Martha Stewart as well before.
You what?
Right.
I was with Martha Stewart one time on.
Yeah, we don't want to know about that, buddy. You should keep that to yourself.
I was on her TV show.
You were.
I was Snoop Dogg and Martha Stewart's potluck dinner party.
So did you meet Snoop?
I did meet Snoop.
You're the man, bro.
It was pretty awesome. I got to eat a $550 macaroon. World's most expensive.
I love it.
Now you live in Florida?
Well, I was in California at the time.
No, right now.
But yeah,
See the
Florida.
palm tree. What part?
Just outside Tampa.
Okay.
He's
Yeah.
Tampa. I'm Port Charlotte, and Rick is Newport Richie.
Yeah, I'm back in Newport Richie.
All right.
So
And Tim's in Palm Harbor, which is just south of here.
Oh, fellas, I gotta go. The oven's going off. It was a pleasure
Yep.
talking to all of you. Good luck to
Good luck,
everybody except
Phil.
for Tim.
Good luck, Phil. Thanks so much
All
for
right, guys,
joining.
take care.
thanks, Phil.
Can I just say, like, I know this is a fun little thing that we're doing. I'm so happy that you guys are here. Like the thought you take some time out of your day to just have a good like basketball discussion. I couldn't be happier. Thank you so much, guys. Seriously.
Definitely.
Appreciate it.
Who here stays and watches One Shining Moment all the way through?
Absolutely.
Caramba, really?
Nah, too cynical.
And Caraba, who wrote the song.
Come on.
Usually, I nail it. Any random, I can be like in the middle of, I don't know, I could be at dinner on 8:30 in Guam, and there'll be a text from Ed. In 1963, which two players? And I'm like, fuck it. And then I answer him. And I 90% of the time, he's like blown away that I have the answer. I have no idea who wrote. I don't know.
I know who it is.
Ed Norton?
Me too. It's actually, believe it or not, this song is actually on my playlist on Spotify. So I listen to it all. I love this
I
song.
don't know who wrote it.
We'll let Eddie give the answer. It's Luther, right? Eddie?
No.
Yeah.
No, he didn't
No.
write it. Someone else wrote it.
Not
Okay.
right.
I've been using his lyrics, but
Yeah.
You knew, right? You know, right, Chris?
I thought it was Luther.
No. It's written by David Barrett.
Oh, that's right.
Okay.
No, that's right.
Learned something new today. I didn't know that.
Look it up. Look
Yeah.
it up.
Yeah. Well, I always,
And
don't doubt
there's
you. I
no,
don't
re-
doubt you.
there's no recording. I didn't think there was a recording of Luther singing it.
I have
other
it on
than maybe-
Spotify. Yeah, I have it.
Really?
yeah.
I gotta find that. You gotta send that to me.
Rick, we're in Newport Richie because my friend Tina has a dessert shop in Newport Richie. Do you know where the New York Deli is on 19?
The what deli?
That Brooklyn Deli or New York Bagel Deli? There's like a New York style deli on Route 19.
I think so. Yeah.
Right across there, she has it's called Vampire Penguin. It's the best frozen ice you'll ever have in your life.
Oh, really? Vampire Penguin?
Yeah, it's in the strip mall, but it's right there where I don't know if it's called New York Deli or Brooklyn Deli. There's a bagel stuff. It's a great place, but her place is right across the street. She has amazing desserts.
Yeah, it's a small area. So I'm in Gulf Harbors, which is a little canal thing just off of 19. So
Yeah, it's what they call shaved ice. It's amazing.
all right.
Jay does.
Standing.
All right.
So
MC,
Bernie, did you have
wanna,
something else you wanted to say about one shining moment?
No, I just
interrupted you.
for me, it's always I mean, it's MC will tell you he usually gets a phone call or he calls me, and then we kind of hang up and watch it every year, and then
not to like get all like what sentimental and stuff about it, but when I love the game. I love the game, and I heard other MC talk about being cynical, and I get it. Me too at times, but there's just something about it. Like to me, what I love about this tournament is I try to block all that other stuff out, and playing for your school, the pride and everything. And I remember being an athlete, and it just brings back cool memories. So I love it. I love it every
I'm
year.
not that cynical, but I grew up in New York City on basketball hoops and watched Legends. That's a separate show, but literally watched Legends growing up.
Yeah.
So it wasn't
That's
my
awesome.
blood, but just.
So we're a little pressed for time. We got a little countdown going on that the meeting's going to end. So, so CB, do you have anything else real quick? If not, I'll take us out.
no, take us out. I think that was good. We should
so-
have been doing this a long time ago.
Totally, and we'll do more. So first of all, big thank you to Phil Fong for joining us when he could, and for Tim Erdlen, our two competitors for tonight. Rooting for both of you, wish both of you could win, but it should be fun. I'm really looking forward to it. It's been a great tournament. Thank you for my namesake, other MC, for joining us today, for Rick Erdlen for joining us today, and for Eddie joining us today. What a pleasure to chat with you guys. I see the texts and everything all the time. Now it's nice to be able to sit and have a conversation. Just a couple other things for those watching. Don't forget to like and share the video. Make sure you leave your comments. We love the feedback. And if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and subscribe to Bernie and mine YouTube channel. We're going to be putting more stuff out. Masters is coming up, a whole lot of other things. It doesn't end with the madness.
Nice.
But we will be doing a madness, I think, wrap-up show. We'll figure out the details on that. But in the meantime, this was an absolute pleasure. Enjoy the game tonight. I guess on that note, I'll let us go. This has been the Bernie and OMC show, and we are thrilled to be back in the box. And we'll see you soon. Be well.
All right.
Take care, everyone.
Appreciate it. Go Huskies.